Hey there, everyone. How's it going? I was kind of expecting that to. Oh, I'm really disorganized. I haven't even got my light on. There we go. I was expecting that left thing to have something on. There we go. Yeah. Hey there, everyone. Thank you very much for handing over to me there, Ferret. Really appreciate your interference and chill. It was lots of fun as always. Everybody pressing those buttons and messing with you. I'd just like to say, when you were having to draw the one with the cow, you know, I gave you the red back and you didn't grab it. You let someone take it away again. Rogue drones then. Yeah, after interference and chill each week, we've got in the habit of showing off what we've been doing with rogue drones this week. Which, if I'm completely honest with you, isn't really that much this week. We had a sort of like a post-res debrief that we... oh, hey there, Bunnery's in the chat as well. Bunnery's actually sat next to me here, but you can't see her off camera. She's writing the questions for Sunday's quiz, or starting the questions for Sunday's quiz. Yeah, we had our kind of debrief after Res and made some notes about things that we want to do, so it's been mostly kind of an admin week. But something that came up on last week's stream was people maybe wanted to see me actually fiddle about with the game a bit. So I don't know, maybe we could kind of do that. I've never done anything like that before, and I'm actually kind of nervous about it. But, you know, YOLO, I think that's what the cool kids say. Let's see what happens. Oh, thank you for the encouragement there. Yeah, okay, so I'll just do a very quick sort of recap of this if you haven't seen this stuff before, and then we can do something. I don't know. We'll wing it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. That's when the best stuff happens. So, if you haven't seen Rogue Drones before, just a very quick 5-minute run through of it. We were having our Christmas party at Christmas, obviously, and the TV was on in the background, and it was all, you know, drones, Gatwick, because we're in the UK, and it was when all of this business happened with a drone turning up at the airport, and they had to shut down the airport, and then they couldn't find the drone, and it disappeared. So then they started everything up, and then the drone came back, and all this, yeah, you know, we'd had a couple of beers, and someone said, yeah, we should make a game of this. So we did. And we started it in January, 14th of January, and then we took it to Res the week before last. So basically, everyone else rocked up with sensible games, and we were there with this, which we'd made in 10 weeks. But, you know, it was fun. The good news is it turned out really well. Everyone loved it, so we're going to build it up into a full game. We're going to be doing a bigger demo, maybe get this on early access so we can get people involved in what's happening. So, if you've not seen the game before, let me just embiggen this. Let me actually click in the game, so when I press a button on my controller, it actually does something. So, the idea is we've got a selection of drones here, so we want to kind of have some user customizable options. So, we've got a set of drones named after us. We've got a BNRE, a Bunnery, we've got a Ferret drone, and a Bob drone as well. Bob did our art, the very awesome Bob Duck and Weave. From Duck Games did some of our UI. Thank you, Ferret. Yes, I did actually remember to start my bot this week, so that's all good. Right, I'll just go for a standard one here. Let me just adjust some of my audio mix here. I think that should be picking up the game. Doesn't matter if it isn't. So the idea is, let me just skip this tutorial. So the idea is you're flying a drone around an airport, and there's these bad drones, and you're trying to get rid of them. So our plot is basically you're working airport security, and then all these drones turn up, but your boss won't give you any money for anti-drone tech, so you decide to take matters into your own hand. You get a stun gun, duct tape it onto your own drone, and then fly around zapping the other drones. Like that. Double kill! How good was that? I've literally never done that before. Oh, hey there, Good Fun. How's it going? Yes, I remember we saw you at Resd, actually, didn't we? You came and had a look. I'm sorry, it's been a bit hectic. I haven't managed to check out any of your stuff because you were doing reverse gear on over on Twitch, actually. So sorry, it's on my list of things to look at, but everything's just been a rush since we got back, because we're trying to figure out how to pay for doing all of this. So I got to do some contract work, which sucks up a lot of time. The joys of indie dev. So this is actually the build that people saw at Resd. This is the last one that I actually did a proper build of and have on my machine here. Got a version in Unity that I've vaguely tinkered with, but we're still pretty much where we were after Resd. So just to give you a kind of few ideas of other things that we've got in here, we've also got mixed play integration on this. So I think I should write a proper interface for this at some point. I think you've probably got some mixed play buttons appeared under the stream now, and it will allow you to mess about with me. So you can do things like do a control flip, sorry, I was just looking over at Bunu's screen to see if she's got this up, see if it's come up. Oh, okay, maybe not. Oh yeah, there we go. Someone's pressed it. Thank you, Rugged Fun. There we go. So got a crosswind going in there. If I'm not piloting the drone, it's blowing me out of the way. I've got to kind of go against that now. It kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to line up your shots. You've got to kind of be thinking about that crosswind, or like Bunnery's disabled my stun gun now. So if I want to take down a drone, I'm going to have to go and bash it. Let's see if we all that happens. Yeah, so people can flip your controls as well. Because we're all about interactive streaming. If you've joined us from Interference and Chill, which just finished over on mixer.com/interference, Ferret's been doing some drawing, but with the audience. I know this is going to run out in a minute, so there we go. Ferret's been doing some drawing, but with the audience messing about with her palette and things like that. There we go. So this radar interference has removed some of the drone blobs from my radar. So there's one over there, but I can't actually see it yet until I get a bit closer. There we go. So yeah, we're all about interactive stuff. We've got Interference and Chill, like a live interactive drawing stream. We run a live interactive pub quiz on Sundays over on mixer.com/interference. So you've got slow recharge on my stun gun here now. And so we've been adding in mixed play stuff into Rogue Drones from the start of it. If you came to see the game at Resd, you might remember I was very pleased with this, so I'll just flash it up here. My cool hardware mixed play pad, actually just a numeric keypad with some sticky back plastic and printed buttons on it. That was allowing people to trigger status effects whilst we were at the show. This is how it would actually work in real life. So as you're watching the stream, you've got a panel underneath. It's just a very rough one at the moment. We'll actually do a nice looking panel at some point. That was one of the things I was going to do this week and haven't had a chance actually. That was perfect timing. Oh no, I still rammed it anyway. But that's what we like about real time, you see. You could see that I was about to hit that drone, press the button and just mess with me, pull the trigger, nothing happened, and I just happened to bash into it anyway. So that turned out quite well. So that's kind of how the game is at the moment. So this is literally our build from Resd. We actually were making live changes to it while we were at Resd, and it went quite well. By the time it got to the end of the show, we'd done 10 builds. So when people were kind of adding in different things, like going, oh, you should do this, change the radar, change this, I'd run off around the corner, build that into the next version, and then run it. I forget what day you were in Rugged Fun, actually. If it was towards the start of the show, we actually made it a little bit easier towards the end. Saying it took me 10 to 15 minutes to get 10 drones. I mean, I've got the advantage of I play this a lot because I'm just sat here working on it all the time. So I think my record is just under 2 minutes. I think maybe I did 140, 150, something like that. But through the show, watching people play, it was really, really useful. We managed to make some live changes to kind of make it a bit more sort of pick up and playable at the show, which was something we hadn't really anticipated. little things like, in fact, I just click back into this, just show one small thing. Skip that tutorial. One thing I hadn't thought of. Oh, hey there, Cheese. How's it going? People could damage the drone. Well, you can damage the drone. I'll just sort of batter it a little bit here. So we added in a little tutorial prompt saying, oh, your drone's damaged, why don't you try to land it? But also, we rigged it so your drone's health can only go down to 1%. So even if I sort of bash this around a bit, it won't fully blow up. Because some people were trying with the particularly hard drone, like the fast one, and then they'd have their first go, sort of bash into a few things, the drone blows up, and it's like, yeah, okay, you broke the drone. And it wasn't kind of like a good experience for them. In the rare occasion you go through the floor, yeah, still not fixed that yet. You can kind of clip through the floor, and if I sort of mess about with this enough, I can, yeah. Yeah, there we go, alpha code. So yeah, now I'm underneath, and I don't actually know if I can get back up. So let's just quit that. Yeah, little things like that. I did actually fix that while we were at the show, and then it broke something else, so I had to roll the fix back. But yeah, you know how it is. I should try and fix that next week, maybe. Anyway, I digress. So we added in a few kind of things for the show. So you couldn't blow up the drone. It would take a lot of damage, but just not quite fail. We made the tutorial skippable, and we did some other odds and ends. Oh yes, Rugged Fun saying took 10 to 15 minutes to get 10 drones. We also increased sort of the spread of the Cheese is spot on there. Yeah. So we increased the spread of the stun effect. We increased the range of it a lot. So people who played later on in the show had it a little bit easier. People who came in on the Thursday, that was the first day, it was actually quite hard. Because quite foolishly, it was the first time anyone except us had played the game. In hindsight, that was probably a terrible idea. But, turned out all right in the end. Oh, okay. Bunnery's laptop's just randomly sad-faced, as I think we call blue screens now. Don't know what that was about. As Cheese says in the chat there, the well-known sort of little song, 99 little bugs in the code, 99 little bugs. Take one down, patch it around, 117 little bugs in the code. Very, very true. Sad faced, yep, going to use that now. Yeah, when you get a blue screen on Windows 10, it just has like sad face on it. So I say sad faced instead of blue screened now. Right, so okay, maybe we should try and do something here. So if you've only just tuned in and you weren't here last week, people seemed interested in seeing me actually do something with the game, which I'm a little bit nervous about, but we can try that. I mean, I haven't really got anything planned. We can do something, maybe. We can figure it out together. It'll be great. Right. So let me just. Oh, hang on, clicking things. Let me just get rid of all of this junk off here before I throw that on. So, okay. I've actually made a new scene. Where I can show off one of my monitors and you can actually see the kind of stuff that we're doing. So I'm a bit nervous because I've never actually done anything like this before, so hopefully everyone will be nice. And I should probably also say, okay, I'm a game developer because I make games, so, that's legit, but I'm all self-taught, really, so I'm possibly not doing things in the best way, and I am kind of making stuff up as I go along. So, maybe don't try this at home, but perhaps we can work through some stuff together. Might give people some inspiration or something. That could be kind of cool. So basically, this is behind the scenes of the game. So I've been sort of just messing about with a couple of things. Let me just show you some stuff here. So this is all built in Unity, which is very awesome. In fact, I can. Is this just pulling everything up on this stream? Yeah. I can't spell. You can tell this is how I operate. How am I going to do this? Unity UI mask. I was obviously trying to do that at some point. If you're interested in having to play about with Unity, you go to Unity3D. Oh, they have Unity.com now. Well, there we go. Shows how much I pay attention. Unity.com. You can grab it for free from there. It's very cool. Basically, you can use Unity Personal. You can do pretty much anything you want with it. The restriction is you can't make more than 100,000 a year, which isn't an issue for us at the moment. And then, once you've got the hang of that, you can actually like get a yearly or monthly subscription, and you get some other cool things. But Unity is awesome because it lets you get things done really quickly. I've always been one of these people who kind of I like writing my own code for things, and it's generally a terrible idea because you end up reinventing the wheel all the time, and you end up solving problems that other people have solved a lot, and you get all bogged down making like an engine for your game rather than actually making a game. And I'm not saying that some people are really into making their own engines, and you can make the perfect thing for you. You can optimize it as much as you want, and there's some very good arguments for doing it. But if you just want to make something, Unity is very cool. A lot of people are into Unreal Engine at the moment as well, which is also free. And Epic do some good benefits for you if you're using Unreal Engine. As I say, we just went down to EGX Rest. If you booked a place there and you were doing something with Unreal Engine, they'd cover getting you double the space that you've paid for, which was kind of cool. And they also have like a grant system and stuff like this. The big difference between it really is Unreal Engine is all C++, Unity is C#, and my previous experience was in C#, so it was easier for me to kind of get up to speed with this. Coffee turns into code. It'll work. So yeah, let me just pull up some stuff here. What have we got here? Let's just throw up a title screen maybe. So yeah, I won't go too kind of detailed on like the ins and outs of Unity because there's plenty of tutorials out there for that already. But the way that it works is you've got sort of like a game scene here. So I got like all of my airport stuff in here, and you basically sort of attach behaviors, bits of code to different objects. It might be that an object is a 3D thing like this plane, or it might be that, I don't know, it's maybe a light. I've got a light there. It might be that it's just an object that doesn't sort of exist in the world. There isn't like a physical, well, as much as you can have a physical thing in a game, but there isn't like a visible object in the game. This just sits here with the purpose of running some code. So like I just have a script on here called Game Manager that handles some of the game stuff. And so this is like our title screen, so I can sort of just kind of move around in this. Unity is sort of all about cameras and things. So in the title screen for the game, we have this system where we have this main title screen here, and then when you press play demo, the camera moves over here to. Sorry, just trying to line this stuff up so it looks a bit like it does in the game. The camera zooms over to this. So we have things like world space UI, so bits of user interface that are actually in this map, and you can see them as the camera kind of zooms around. So this is like what our drone selection screen looks like. You can see I've just got some filler text in here, and you can do things like where are we? So I've got a menu manager bit here. So I've got a bit of code attached to this that has links to all of these different bits of text. So say I've got a thing here, health rating text, which is this bit of text. So I've kind of got references to these things that I can then fiddle about with in code. So when you're going left and right on the drones, I can do things like that bit of text, set it to this. So in fact, if I just do this here, oh hey cheese, I've just been sort of running through. Yeah, well look, we're in Unity here. So yeah, Ferret's saying, this is interesting. Backstage view I never get to see. Yeah, I do all of the Unity kind of stuff. So Ferret and Bunnery don't really see this. Well, Bunnery does because she sits on the desk next to me, and you look over and see it, and see me going, "Why doesn't this work? What's going on?" But Ferret never sees any of this stuff. So one of the cool things about Unity is you don't have to kind of go through like a big process, um, like exporting a copy of the game to run, and then you find something's not right, and then you go back into Unity and all that. It's got this idea of like the sort of play mode. So you might have seen I just hit this play button at the top, and we're now running a little version of the game straight within the Unity editor. It's not quite as good for performance and things, but it just lets you kind of go, oh, okay, right, maybe I need to move this. But I can also do things like, I can kind of pause this, and it might be that I want to change some of this stuff. So maybe I don't know. Let's do a simple thing. Maybe I've decided actually I think this bit of tape here. Oh, maybe that's the wrong bit of tape actually. What on earth am I doing here? Stats container. Is this the one? I don't remember how any of this works. Oh no, it's because it's paused. It probably, yeah, there we go. So I can do things like change things live in here. So if I want, I go, actually we want this tape to be green or whatever. So you can make live changes just to see how things are. Or maybe I'm like, okay, this just got to switch between two bits here to select something. Like this little truck thing here. In fact, maybe what I should do is split this up so you can see side by side. So there's this concept of a scene view and a game view. So the scene is the bit that I can actually edit and muck about with, and then that's shown in real time in the game view. So let's say, maybe I go, actually, I don't want that thing in there. I just hit delete, get rid of the thing. You can just like make these changes. Oh, what would it be like if this works slightly differently? You can poke stuff, and then the changes happen live. And then the cool thing is, if you remember, none of these changes persist unless I want them to. So if I come out of play mode, you can see this little truck thing and this colour have gone back to normal. So I can muck about with stuff, get a feel for what I actually want to do, then come out of play mode. It all goes back to the proper version, and I can just make changes that I want. But you can also kind of copy and paste stuff out of it if you do want to actually keep some of the changes you've made. So yeah, I can actually kind of run the whole game in here if I want. I'll just actually go into a level. So let's just go standard drone. Is that audio a bit loud? In fact, I might just turn down the in-game audio just because we don't really need it. So I'm in the game here, and I can do things like, let me just skip this tutorial. I can say have a look at all of the objects in the game. So things like I've got my enemy drones here. I can kind of select these if I want. I can kind of go and find them. I just have to change this scene thing. So I can then actually sort of track these along. I can I can sort of select them and mess about with them. So you can see here. I don't know if this. I haven't done this before, so I don't know if these scenes are a sensible size. It might be that this text is a bit too small. If so, I can change that for next time. But you can see I'm sort of outputting all kinds of different bits of information here. I can see things like what the thrust of this drone is, like what its position is, what its current health is, and stuff. So I don't know where he went actually. In fact, I should be able to press, is it Shift F, and it'll try and follow it. There we go. That's a bit better. So I can just make my my scene view here follow this one object while I mess with it. So I can do things like, maybe if I want this drone to move a bit slower, I can adjust the maximum tilt of it. That hasn't worked because that must be copied somewhere else. I forget how this works. Oh no, it'll next time it tries to change direction. So if I want, I can mess about with this. I could like change some numbers to make it be able to thrust faster, or I could change the list of targets that it's hovering around, all this kind of stuff, and just mess about with things in real time. It's very cool. It's trying to go to some particular position here. If I wanted, I could change these numbers, and then it will start trying to go to different places. It's kind of cool. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we should do something. I I mean, maybe there's a couple of things we could do. We could maybe try and make up a new mix play button, perhaps. I don't know, that does something. Or one of the things we were talking about at our post-res debrief was maybe trying to make a different kind of tutorial level where there's some rings for you to fly through, so that you kind of get a bit of practice piloting the drone around. So I was kind of initially thinking of maybe doing that. I sort of I started trying to hack together a little kind of tutorial level here. Ironically, all of these messages should probably be turned off. So I just kind of made like an empty space here, and I was thinking about maybe throwing some rings on here to fly through. But then I was thinking, well, maybe we could do a mix play thing, because that would be quite cool for you watching on Mixer. I can then add in a button for it, and then you can press it, and we can see if it works. Maybe that would be novel. If anyone has an idea for something we could do. But yeah, like I say, I haven't kind of really thought of any ideas. I mean, the existing stuff we've got, if you give me, I like the mix play idea. Okay, cool. Let's have a go at that. It's a bit more interactive then, isn't it? Let me just pull up the Mixer Dev Lab here. Let me just check. See, I do like Mixer. I'll even risk showing this. I do like Mixer because they automatically hide all of your secret keys and things until you hover over them. So I don't need to worry too much about accidentally showing you something, because it's all automatically covered up. I think there's only one bit in here I need to worry about. So a lot of you have seen me play about with MixPlay before. Hang on, let me just stop this because I can just hear the drone buzzing. Thank you for the follow, ElectroGamer8. How's it going? We're maybe going to have a go at some sort of live game dev here, which we've never tried before, but it could be fun. We're going to maybe try and do some sort of mix play interaction into our game Rogue Drones that we're working on at the moment. Because, why not? Let's try some random thing live. You got a game in the directory? Yeah, I mean, it's in the... it's in like the sort of the mix play application list. It's also in the game directory for Mixer as well. If I throw Mixer here, I should be able to find it under games, which I'm quite pleased with. Sorry, I'm sort of jumping around doing... Oh, hang on, it was there. Doing random stuff here. Yeah, you get your logo and everything in there. You can see who's playing the game. Oh, look, it's me. That's pretty cool. As an aside, if anyone wants to do that, Mixer's game list gets pulled from player.me. If I go over there, just again, tangents. Can I safely press this? Let me just move this over here while I just log in. Wasn't sure if that had my email address on or not. So you can add games to here. You can submit a game, and it will kind of let you sort of add in a sort of a listing for it, I guess would be the best word. So I submitted this, and then Mixer pulls these things across. So you can put in all of the social links for the game, a bit of a description. I need to add some videos and things here, and then Mixer pulls this across, so you can do things there. I'm sorry, I missed that GIF actually because I was in full waffle mode. Party hard, yeah, exactly. You know me, code hard, party hard. So if you're making a mixplay thing, you use this Mixer Lab page, mixer.com/lab. All of this stuff is kind of open to everyone. You don't need to be like a registered developer or anything. You can just kind of get on here and muck about, really. If you've used things like Mixer bots, you might have had a bit of a play around with this before. But if not, it's kind of cool. It's pretty easy to use, really. I say it's pretty easy to use. It's a little bit weird, but then once you kind of get used to how the interface works, it's pretty easy. So our mixplay system at the moment, you can do things like radio interference, radar interference, crosswind, stun gun malfunction, slow recharge. So we've got some buttons for that on this MixPlay panel. So what I'm able to do is just things like say, okay, well I want a button here. I'm going to call this I don't know. Let's call this maybe dev stream demo or something, because I'm really imaginative. So I've got like a little button down here, and then I can set some text on this. Maybe if someone comes up with some ideas for what this thing will actually do, we can actually put a proper label on here. So I don't know. Let's just let's say new MixPlay button or new MixPlay effect. And you can set things like what the spark cost for this is going to be. You can do all stuff like background images. That's how people have these really cool MixPlay panels. I've not bothered with that yet because this is all just a prototype. And you can do things like keyboard controls as well. So you can make it so if people press, 3, it fires off whatever effect. Somewhere in here, I think you can configure how this works on Xbox. One of the things we also do is we run a live interactive pub quiz that uses all of this MixPlay stuff, and we have issues with it not working properly on the Xbox Mixer app because we don't have an Xbox to test it on. But I'm pretty sure it's maybe keyboard control or something. Maybe the buttons on the controller map to different keys or something. I don't know. I'll look into it one day. Okay, so I've got a button here, right? Let's just close that up, and then you can just like drag and drop buttons on here. So I'll just stick that there and press save before I forget. So now next time the game connects to MixPlay, it will show this extra button, hopefully. Maybe we should try that in a sec. What I will do, just before I forget, there's different grids here. So you have one for desktop size. So if you're in the browser, full screen, you'll see the layout like this. There's also a tablet one, and you need to assign the buttons separately for this. So I'm just going to whack that on there as well. And there's also one for the phone as well. So if you're in the app, this is how it looks. So you can kind of control how these things look based on different device sizes, which is pretty cool because a big wide thing won't really work on a phone. One of the things they did add in, well, quite a while ago actually, it used to be the panel was always this size in terms of height, but they made it so it now only uses the height that's required, so it won't take up this extra space for this empty bit down there. Small touch, but it was pretty cool. Okay, so that's kind of one half of the MixPlay side of things. So, I mean, that should actually be live now. So if let me come out of this and go to, let me just pull up my actual level. I'll just get a, let me just get a browser so I can see myself over here as well. Oh, I'm going to need to remember to mute this. There we go. Okay, so I can just see my own MixPlay panel just to check that it works. So let's have a go at firing this up. Hopefully this will work. So if I press M in here, that should trigger a... Ooh, okay, didn't think that through. Let me just do this. Someone else is going to steal my code here, aren't they? Okay, that should pick that up. So the way that Mixer does authentication is pretty cool, because you might be playing this on an Xbox and then maybe you don't have the ability to easily go to like putting a username and password and all that. It shows one of these auth codes that you then go to mixer.com/go, type in the code, and it's like, okay, right, that's that person, and it hooks you up with your account. It knows who you are, so it makes the authentication a lot easier. So hopefully I should get a MixPlay panel in a sec, unless someone else did steal that code. Let me just disconnect that and reconnect it. Having said that, I don't know why that suddenly requested one, because it's been working without it so far. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so hopefully if you have your MixPlay panels open, you should have a new MixPlay effect button that if I press, doesn't do anything. My system in the game automatically fires cooldowns on things. So the way that our cooldowns work on the buttons, when you press one, well, we have a status effect length, which is 20 seconds. So when someone presses, crosswind, whatever, that'll last for 20 seconds. The cooldown for that button is double that, so the cooldown has been set to 40 seconds there, and the others get a little 5-second cooldown, just so people aren't hammering all of the buttons at once. And the way that the mixer system works on Unity, there's like an SDK that you download, a development kit, and it lets you just kind of get a list of the buttons and go, okay, all these buttons, set this cooldown on them. Like literally in a couple of lines of code. It's cool. I'll pull it up in a sec. So that's how this thing that we've literally just put in, it's already kind of responding to cooldowns, just using the same system as the other buttons. So this is where my giant mess of spaghetti code happens. So I probably called it something like cooldown. Let me just search for that. So I've just got a set of cooldowns. I've got some variables. I'm going to sort of try and keep this reasonably kind of entry level sort of coding babble. But if anyone wants me to go into some detail on stuff, just say in the chat. So yeah, we're keeping a list of what the cooldown on each button is. I'm familiar with C#. Okay, cool. Cheese should be all right. If anyone else does want me to explain bits, just say as we're going through. Similar to JavaScript. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, most things are kind of similar these days. I mean, JavaScript, yeah, it is. It is pretty similar. What you do tend to find, or at least what I find, is the biggest problem is the more similar things are, it's easy to get confused between the two. So sometimes I end up doing, JavaScript things in C# and it messes my head. But yeah, so we have a thing here where we've got some variables, so we've just counting how long is left before someone can press the button, and I've just got some like rough kind of debug code in here really. I will actually neaten all of this up later, where we just constantly count those cooldowns down until they get to 0. If you've not used Unity before, each kind of block of code that you put in, each behavior that you might assign to an object, they have some special methods in there. Things like update. This is called every frame. So on my level manager that we've got here, that just sits in each level, every frame, every time Unity is refreshing stuff, it runs through this code, and it will take off the time since the last frame, this time.delta time, off the existing cooldowns that we have. So that's how we kind of prevent people from hammering those buttons too much. Let me just sort of scan down to where we're actually doing things. This is my fake stuff for the show, actually. You can see a load of stuff here in Unity, again in this update loop. So every time it's getting ready to do a frame, it will see, oh, is this key down, or is this key down, or this one, or this one. And if it is, it will then trigger a fake mixplay interaction. These are keypad 5, keypad 7, that's how this thing worked. That was just pressing, it's just a normal numeric keypad. It was just pressing, 0, enter, whatever underneath, and then I was just looking for that in the code. But somewhere I should have the actual version of that. Here we go. So Microsoft Mixer have made this awesome set of dev tools for Unity. So you just add in this thing that you can download from the Unity asset store for Mixer. In fact, I should probably just go show you this. If you're not familiar with Unity, there's this asset store thing. Basically, all kinds of stuff that you might need is on here, either for free or some paid things. So, like, we don't have any 3D skills in house, so our airport assets are bought in. We can just find them on here. But there's also some cool free stuff, like this Mixer SDK. This is maintained by Microsoft, regularly updated, and you can just add this into your copy of Unity, into your game, and then it sorts out all of the connection for Mixplay. We don't have those skills yet, says Ferret. Yes, Ferret is hopefully getting into 3D. That should be really, really helpful. So yeah, I've got this kit plugged into the game already. And by plugged in, I mean literally all you really have to do is you just throw in one of these interactivity manager things that they've set up. You just stick that into your game, and it does everything. It's very, very cool. So once that's in, if I just come back to Visual Studio here, let me just remember where I am here. Was this like 602? Somewhere near the start of this. So I've got a start method here. So when an object starts up in Unity, it will run the stuff that's in here once. One of the things it does is it sets up some event handlers. So the Mixer interactive object, this Mixer toolkit thing, will occasionally send out messages like, oh, there's an error, oh, interactivity state changed, or oh, there was a button event. And I'm saying each time one of those happens, go and run this bit of code that I've written. So I've got an on interactive button event. And then that feeds me in some information about what button was pressed. So, I mean, again, there is kind of all code stuff here, but it's kind of, they've done it in a really easy way. It's almost just readable as English, really. So I got this thing here called E, which is the event that's happening. And basically that contains some information like what button it is. So it will say, is it pressed? And that will be true or false. So I can tell whether I'm getting an event because the button has been pressed or released. So if it says a button thing is happening but it's not pressed, they've obviously taken their finger off the mouse at that point. We're just doing it when you first click. So if the button was pressed, and say this bit here, if control ID equals radio interference button, which if I just bring this back up here, I've got this radio interference button is literally called radio interference button. So just saving me a bit of time later, I'll just grab this in my clipboard for when I forget it. So our dev stream demo button, we can just add one of those in. So if it was the radio interference button, do this. If it was the storm button, do this. If it was whatever, do that. Let's say else if this control ID is dev stream demo, do a thing. Let's do something simple to start with, like let's just show that we actually got that. Just put in a message saying someone pressed the button. So you've got this like debug log that you can write things out to in Unity. So if I just kind of pull this back up, I don't think I need to do anything else there. So I've got this kind of console here. In fact, you could see some of my existing things that I pressed there. Let's just fire it up again, see what happens. So if I turn on the Mixplay stuff there, you might be able to see on my screen here all kinds of things are firing off here. So it's telling me the Mixplay status has changed. Someone pressed the storm button, so that was cheese, I think. And then if someone tries to press that button again while it's cooling down, which Mixer handles that for us, so it shouldn't happen. You shouldn't be able to press this button. You can't see me clicking that, can you? I'm pressing the storm button again. Nothing's happening. So you don't see it mentioned in here. But just as a precaution, our game will also go, hang on, it's too early for that to be pressed again. It stopped a problem where people could just kind of really rapidly click it and get in a few before the Mixplay panel actually disabled the button. So we've got one here. Someone pressed the button. So that was my message that I just put in there. And then we're getting some information, dev stream demo pressed, storm button pressed, stun gun cool button pressed. And then you can see like my counters here. They're not updating in real time because it didn't seem worth that. I'm just interested, is this bigger than 0? You know, is there time left on that cooldown? So, like I say, you know, Mixer makes this pretty easy. At the moment, we've now got a button in the Mix Play panel, and then in our code, all I literally had to do was, you know, if the button is, I forget what it was called, if the button's name is DevStream Demo, do this thing. So now all we've got to do is come up with a thing to do. I see someone mentioned one that speeds up all enemy drones. Yeah, okay, why not? Let me just think about how on earth I would do that. I just need to remember how drones work. Let me just have a look. They stack 92 on the UI. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. You know, it's like everything all kind of slots together really easily. No, you're not someone. Some ferret. Yeah. No, it's just that I kind of saw it out of the corner of my eye, but didn't look at the name. But then thinking about it, it was a green name, so it was obviously you or Bunnery. Apologies. Right. Okay. So how can we speed up a drone? One of the things we learnt from trying to do this as kind of like for the user selection of drones, I was like, oh, okay, we'll make a drone that's fast, so we'll just give it more thrust. It's like, no, that was not a good idea, because you move the stick a bit and the thing would just like ram up into the ceiling effectively. The sky is solid, so it keeps people constrained into the play area. And turning the thrust up it wasn't really the right way to do it. What we found worked better was reducing the weight of the drone. So you know that kind of worked out pretty well. For the AI drones, somewhere I have an AI drone here. Enemy drone, that's probably it. And there's probably some sort of code on this somewhere. AI drone controller. That sounds plausible. Let's have a look at that. What does any of this do? Okay, right. Yeah, interesting. Okay, max tilt. Yeah, right. Okay, so I haven't really looked at most of this stuff since before Rezzed. If it wasn't something I fiddled with at Rezzed, I've kind of forgotten how it works. So the way that we controlled the speed of the enemy drones, the easiest thing to do there was control how much they could tilt. Because if you think about a drone, or the way that our drones work, let me just get a card here, for example. So I've got one of Dave's business cards here. These were what we were giving out at the show. Very cool. These are the shiny ones. So for the drone to move forward, it tilts forward and applies thrust. So then I thought, well, hang on. Maybe we want slow, medium and fast drones to give a bit of variety. And if you've seen in the game, you might have noticed some of them are different colours. So there's red drones are fast, yellow drones are balanced, medium, green drones are slow. And this is one of the things we adjusted live at the show. We took out the very fast drones after the first day because people were finding them a bit too difficult to hit. So I've got a bit here where when we start a new enemy drone, it does it get set here or does it happen elsewhere? It is told what type of drone it is, and that's just a number. So I've got an int here, an integer, a whole number, drone type 0. So it can be 0, 1 or 2. And then we just sort of rig the maximum tilt of it. So the default is 60. And then, so a type 0 drone is 60 plus 10 times the type. So 10 times 0, 0. So 60. So, you know, it'll tilt, you know, this much, whatever. If the drone type is 1, it's 60 plus 10. So it can tilt a little bit more, can tilt to 70. And a type 2 can tilt to 80. I stopped it there because if they go to 90, weird things happen with the way our physics works. And it was easier just to not let them tilt all the way than to actually fix that, but I will sort it out at some point. You might be able to see here, actually, I did have a bit that tacked slow, balanced, or fast onto the end of the name. Now, sort of commented that out. That's what all this green stuff is, just comments. So, what we need to be changing is this max tilt thing here. So when we start an AI drone, there's another object attached to it called drone, because AI drones and player drones are the same thing. It's just the player drone has a system that reads your controller and sends that to the drone to do the engine and the tilt and stuff. The AI drone basically fakes being a controller. It's kind of cool, actually. Let me just show you a bit of that. This is maths, so I won't go into details of that. But basically, it figures out the direction it wants to go, and then tilts towards it, and then thrusts. And it's basically, it drives like I drive the drone, pilots like I pilot the drone. So yeah, it just tilts, thrusts forward. It's simple. Sorry, I'm getting carried away and not actually keeping up with chat here. Okay, yeah, Bread Ferret was something that was mentioned on yesterday's Apex stream. So there's a picture of a ferret with its head through some bread knocking about now, like Bread Cat, the sticker on Mixer. Cheese ferret bread, yeah, as Ferret says. That, but the thing where people throw a slice of cheese on their pet's head. A little bit harsh, though. Having said that, I mean, our cats are always really up for having cheese, and then you give them some, and then they won't eat it. It's a big waste. I don't like that with most food, though. There's cats, I guess. Right, so this is the wrong file. This is just driving the drone. I want the one that actually deals with moving it around. So I've got this other bit here, drone. So there must be some sort of value here for maximum tilt. Yeah, there we go. Max tilt. Okay, so by default that's set to 60. Maybe what I should do, and again, I'm just making this up as I go along. I'm possibly not going to do things in the most sensible way here. Let's stick something in here called bad habit. I'm making all of this stuff public, which means I can see it from elsewhere. If I don't stick this public word on things, these values, so say this, only the drone bit of code here can see that, which is good because nothing else can be messing with it. But having them public makes them appear in the editor in Unity, which is kind of simple for sort of debugging things. So what I'm going to do is throw in a thing here for original max tilt. I don't know, let's set that to 60 as well, whatever. Because then what I want to do is, if we're doing a mix play thing, it's going to last for 20 seconds or whatever, and maybe I want to set the tilt to something, but then at the end of that I want it to go back to normal. So I want to remember what the original one is. So okay, let's find somewhere in here we can stash some of this stuff. What have we got? Set control inputs. Set your. There's going to be something here to do with mix play, probably. Reset drone. I don't know. Let's kind of throw it in here. Take damage. That looks promising. I'll just stick it above that. I mentioned earlier we rigged the drones for the show so that you can actually break them. So here, take damage happens whenever you shoot a drone or you bash your own drone. So I've got a bit here saying if is player, so it's the player rather than an enemy drone. If the health has ended up less than 1, just set the health back to 1, so you could never quite break it. Right. Let's go. Is this the way? Is this the place to do it? Should it be an AI drone? Because then I could just look for all AI drones. Decisions. One of the things I can do in Unity is easily search for all of the objects of a certain type. So if I do this to AI drone controllers, I don't have to bother checking to see if it's the player. So maybe this is where I should be doing it. In fact, that might make sense actually, because I have a matching thing for player drone controller, which has some things saying stuff like apply tilt control flip or apply rotate control flip, and then that flips your controls or whatever. So to kind of mirror that for the AI, I should do this in the AI. So yeah, okay, I'll stick it in there. So this is going to be me writing some stuff here and then going, why doesn't this work? So this is probably going to be the most boring part of all of this. Right, so what we're going to need, like maybe a timer for, let's say, let's put mix play fast drone time remaining or something. Just set that to 0 to start with. So what I'm interested in doing is looking to see if there is fast drone time remaining, and if there is, we make the drone fast. If there isn't, we set it back to normal. So okay, that seems legit. Why not? We'll just hack it in. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I got all of this business here. Let's throw this in near the top because it seems sensible that we should be working out if we're doing a fast drone business before any of this stuff. Before we actually try and work out how far it can tilt and all that, we should do that now. So, okay, let's say if, I've already forgotten what I call that, mix play fast drone time remaining is greater than 0. First, I will just knock a bit of time off that. So I mentioned earlier we had this time.delta time thing. So this is going to happen every frame. If there is some time remaining on this, we want to take off the time since the last frame, so gradually it will come down, because we can't guarantee exactly the rate of time between frames. We're aiming for 60 frames a second here, so each time this code runs it should be a 60th of a second, but it might be something's going on, a load of processing's just happened and we blip down to 24 frames or something. We can't guarantee those numbers. This is always right, though. Unity figures it out for us. So I decrease that a bit. Let's say, if there is fast drone time remaining, I'm going to go and get the drone thing that this AI is actually piloting, and I'm going to go max tilt equals, let's go crazy, let's say 85. That's almost tilted all the way. So if there is fast drone time left, then the max tilt should be 85. That'll kind of let it kind of really storm around. If there isn't, then we should say the max tilt there is the original, I forget what I called it, original max tilt. So we set that back. Problem is, what is original max tilt going to be? We should probably set that up at some point. So okay, if there's time left on that mix play interaction, make it tilt loads. If there isn't, set it back to normal. Yeah. This is probably slightly wasteful because once this is set once, I don't need to keep doing it every frame. But we'll sort that out later. It'll be fine. I'm fascinated, but my head hurts. Yeah, I mean, the analogy I always say with this is a bit like cooking. So it's like writing a recipe for a person who needs everything explicitly spelled out to them. So you say, okay, if the kitchen timer has more than 1 second on, maybe they're running their own timers as well. Take off a second from the timer. If there's less than 0 left on the timer, put the thing in the oven or take it out of the oven or whatever it is you're doing. And it's kind of just like that, really. Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes you need to explicitly kind of. Oh, okay. Sorry. Is that a bit better, cheese? Yeah, as I say, maybe let's go quite big. That'll probably be fine. Sorry, as I say, I haven't really tested this. I'm just kind of making it up as I'm going along. I'll remember to do big text for next time. But yeah, sometimes some people you need to kind of explicitly say, okay, go to this thing, press this, then type this in, then do that, then whatever. But yeah, exactly that, Ferret. So yeah, basically all I've got here, I've got this timer thing set up. So if this value is greater than 0, knock off whatever amount of time has passed. We'll set that max tilt to 85 because that's really as far as we can go before things get weird. If there is no time left, then just set it back to the original. So that'll be fine. So what I need to do in here is let's make something down here. So I just need to make a little method down here. So methods are sort of like little self-contained bits of code that you can kind of fire off, like a function you might call if you're used to JavaScript, that kind of thing. But I could make another object say to this object maybe get next target, and that would trigger this to happen. Or this object could do it to itself. Whatever. It's all cool. So I might go here, I don't know, let's call this trigger fast drone effect. And I'm also going to pass in a time here for, let's say, effect time. So another bit of code is going to say, hey, AI drone controller, we're going to trigger the fast drone effect for 20 seconds. This float, a floating point value, so a decimal number, basically. So not an integer, not a whole number. This could be, 20.5 seconds or whatever. So all I'm going to do is take that and go, my mix play fast drone time remaining is the time that we've sent into that. So that's all cool. Right, what else could we do here? So the one thing I do need to fix is when, let me just go back to the drone bit here. Sorry if I'm making anyone kind of motion sick scrolling up and down so much. I'm just trying to remember where max tilt actually gets set. Probably in some crazy place. So Unity lets you use various editors for your code. I'm using Visual Studio here, which is Microsoft's big professional thing. But I'm on Visual Studio Community. I'm using 2017 here. 2019 came out last week, I think, maybe. It's only just come out. I should probably stay on top of this and upgrade, but whatever. This is free. You can grab it from visualstudio.com. It's now the recommended one to be using with Unity. They used to use this thing mono develop, but people are going with this now. It does cool stuff. I'm thinking, where on earth does max tilt get set? I got no idea, but there's an option for find all references. It's basically just doing a search for wherever that happens. So this obviously gets set somewhere. What's this? New config. That isn't where I thought that would come from. Oh, okay, for the AI drones. No, we have seen this already. Max tilt is a value that we're making up in there. So when we first start this up, this is happening in start, so this is going to happen when the enemy drone appears, the very first frame that it's there. We're setting that value. So let's also go drone dot original max tilt is that value that we've just set there. There's probably a better way to do this, but I'm just winging it and making it up as I go along. So we're setting on the drone whatever the proper maximum tilt is, and then we're just getting a copy of that as well, just in case. And then later, it'll come down here, something is going to be able to say, do fast drone for such and such a time, and then while there is time left on that, we set the max tilt to 85. If there isn't, we just set it back to whatever the original is. So that's cool. That might work. Who knows? Let me just save all this stuff that I've put in here. So then I also need to come back to this level manager thing. This is where the interactions are handled. So what have we got to do here? Someone presses the button. We just need to get some enemy drones. Max tilt sounds like a person. It does a bit, like max headroom. Yeah. Of course, you're too young to remember max headroom. Yeah. I didn't realise Max Headroom, there was actually a film that started from. Yeah. There's like an origin story in all this. Sorry, just talking to Bunnery. Oh, sorry, that was you saying that. I thought that was Ferret, just because I'm not really looking at the chat. After what happened last time, I was like, oh, it's a green name, it'll be Ferret. But yes, yeah, you remember Max Headroom. Used to actually present music videos on Channel 4 or something. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, there's a random origin story of where it came from. It's some bunny this time. Yes, yes. Some bunny, some ferret. So let's make some stuff happen here. So someone presses the button. You can see on these other ones. Let me just get rid of this search so it unhighlights all that. If someone presses the stun gun cooldown multiplier button, which is the one for the slow recharge, we basically multiply the time that it takes for the recharge to occur by some amount. So we've got a thing here saying find object of type taser and then apply slow charge effect, or for the malfunction, find the taser. Sorry, shouldn't really be saying taser because that's a trademark. That's why we're saying stun gun in the actual game. Behind the scenes in the code, before I discovered that, it says taser everywhere. I should probably change that at some point. Find the radar, do some stuff to it. Find the player, flip their controls. I think this is effectively passing notes anyway. Just actually trying to keep an eye on the chat. I guess that would be doing whispers, but then I can't even see you doing that. I can see Bunnery typing out the corner of my eye though. All right, let's. Bunnery's doing the quiz. Yeah. Okay, let's make something happen. So what I want to do is Unity lets me find objects of a particular type really easily. This is slightly inefficient. I should probably do this in a different way, but we'll sort that out later. So there's a thing called find objects of type, and I can go AI drone controller. So I know all of the enemy drones have got this AI drone controller thing on them. So that will let me just find them easily. In fact, what's that going to give me? That's going to give me a list of, that's going to give me an array of them. Okay, cool. So I can't directly do that. Let's go, let me just stick some of this in here. I already have a list of drones. I'm just going to start typing words in here. And I think I already have this somewhere. What would I call it? It'd be enemy or something. Enemies. What is any of this? Find target objects. What's that about? This is in the radar. What? So Visual Studio lets me just type something in and it will go and find wherever that might be happening. This is probably... Alright, forget that. We'll just do the inefficient thing. It'll be fine. Let me just kind of back this up a bit. Where were we? No, that's not it. So I'm pressing back and forward on my keyboard, and now I've kind of lost where I was. Yeah, okay, someone pressed the button. Right, so what we're going to do is get a list of enemy drones. So that will give me an array of AI drone controllers. So an array is, it's like one object but like a list of them. They come in like a numbered list and I can pull them out there. Let's call that enemy drones. And let's find objects of type AI drone controller. So basically in one bit of code, and this is where Unity comes in pretty awesome really. I've got this one line here, and now this thing, enemy drones, this enemy drones variable, has got a list of all of the enemy drones. I should probably track this elsewhere rather than generating that list every time someone presses the button, because that's quite wasteful. We probably want to do things to the list of enemy drones on a regular basis. It looks like the radar is already kind of maintaining a list of enemy drones. Maybe I could kind of hook into that. Maybe that should be shared somewhere. I don't know. We just make it up as we go along, though. It'll be fine. What I should then be able to do is say for each enemy in there, if I can spell, in enemy drones. So in C#, I have these sort of iterator things. So I've got a I shouldn't say a list, because a list is a different thing, but I've got this set of enemy drones, and I can go for each one of them. Let's do something. So I'm going to pull each one out, and that's going to be referred to as enemy, and then once I'm done with that, it'll grab the next one and let me refer to that as enemy. So I'm just going to go enemy, I forget what it was. Does it apply? No? Somewhere it should be listed in here. You know, I've already forgotten what I was doing. Find targets? No. It's in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere. Trigger fast drone effect. That's what I'm trying to do. Trigger fast drone effect. So we've got a default effect duration, which is 20 seconds. So let's just throw that in there. Right. So if someone presses a mix play button, check which one it is. If it's DevStream demo, we'll just log out something saying someone pressed the button. You know, that, at least we know that bit's working then. And if it doesn't work, we'll be able to tell if we got this far. Find all of the enemy drones, and then for each one, trigger the fast drone effect on them by sending them in whatever this value is. I'm pretty sure that's 20 seconds somewhere. Yeah, effect duration is 20. I think that's it. Let's just save that. Let's see what happens, you know. As I say, I'm just winging this entire thing. Probably doing it in terrible ways, and people are like groaning at what I'm doing, if anyone who knows what they're doing is watching. And yeah, test time. Yeah. You know, let's go. So I'll just oh, controller's gone to sleep. I've been talking that long. Right, so we got some enemy drones in. Cool. So I mean, this might not work. You know, the whole thing might be terrible. Let me put that console on there. Oh, thank you for the follow there, Rugged Fun. I'm hoping I'm not going to let you all down here. Maybe it's going to be terrible. So I've got a yellow. Oh no, let's find a green one. So this green drone here, I use green in the loose sense. So this one can't tilt as much as the others. So if this works, if I press M to turn on mix play, if this works, that should appear. It's trying to get somewhere. Yeah, I think that has tilted a little bit more. So if that's worked, that is now going a bit faster. I feel like that is kind of going quite fast. Maybe we should make this. Maybe we need more power. Maybe we should increase the thrust. What's the worst that could happen? I know what's the worst that could happen. They can all go and plant into the sky. But if nothing else, it'll be pretty funny. More power. Yes, exactly. It's like Top Gear. But yeah, you know, it started working. So, you know, someone pressed the button. Oh, I tell you what we haven't put in, actually. Pointing at the wrong camera. I'll tell you what we didn't put in. We have a little thing called Show NPC Message. If I sort of go over here, I can send that some message text, a sender. I don't even remember what a sender is. Unlimited power. Yes, exactly. Sender? Oh, that's the name of the person it's coming from, and some other odds and ends. So what I should be able to do, let's go, you know, let's just copy one of these things and paste it in here. So we'll do all of this stuff, and then we'll just call this thing and change the message a bit. So we'll get the boss sending a message, and we'll say something like, fun saying, well, how about enemy trails called by enemy type at some point? Yeah, I mean, that would make more sense. Originally they were just, enemies were all going to be red, and the different colours was really just for me to be able to see at a glance what speed they were going to be for debugging, really. But then people were saying, excuse me, people were saying you should have different types of drones. So yeah, there will be different coloured drones. So it does make sense. Having the different trails. So maybe, you know, you could see in a distance like one with a, I don't know, green trail or something. You're like, oh, hang on, that's one of the boss drones or something. And someone also suggested when you take one down, the trail should turn black, so that you know immediately it's crashing. More coffee. Let's just throw a quick message in here. Is it me? Or are those drones moving faster? More coffee fee, exactly, yes. We should get the name of the person who did the interaction as well, actually. So let's say I think no. Well, let's just say I blame, and then here you might have noticed we've got this participant username in here in some of the messages. You know, I bought these stun guns off, and it's basically insert name here. I saw insert name here trying to charge their phone. Is it me or are those drones moving faster? I blame participant username. In fact, let's get an exclamation mark on the end of there. So this is just a string, like a bit of text, and in C# you can concatenate strings together, mash strings together, just with a plus. Yeah, you know, I blame space. You always got to remember to do the spaces. Stick the name in there. Stick an exclamation mark on the end. Sorted. Let's just test that quickly. Just check I haven't made any ridiculous mistakes here. Unity will normally throw up a message in the console if you've done something wrong. So if someone tries to press that button, we should hopefully get a shout out for you. There we go. I blame Rugged Fun. Because, you know, we know people love seeing their name on things. So that's why we're trying to work out the get the names in all of the messages. It's how we're sort of... It makes it a bit awkward writing content in a way that you can put someone's name in. You know, we're like, oh, a hacker calling themselves participant name has claimed responsibility. Oh, I saw participant name messing with your drone earlier. That kind of stuff. But it looks cool. Supercharged drones. Yeah, exactly. Let's just kind of kick these things up a little bit more, just because it will be funny. And, you know, why not? So, yeah, we had that AI drone thing, didn't we? So I got trigger fast drone effect. So we set a time on there, and then whilst the time is happening, the max tilt is set to that. You know what we should do? Let's go somewhere in here. I've probably got a way to adjust the mass of it. Mass. Seems legit. Does it seem legit? I don't know. Why would I have a thing called mass? That's probably the initial mass of it. Let me just go check. Sorry, just scrolling through loads of stuff. Yeah, mass, yeah, rigid body. So Unity has this concept of a rigid body, which is basically physics object. One of the things that's very cool about Unity is if you want to do physics, Rogue Drones is realistic physics. The drones are all actually driven with forces and gravity and things. But yeah, you want to have something that has gravity on in Unity. You go make that rigid body, and then physics happens to it. It's great. Well, yeah, make these two things into rigid bodies, and then throw them at each other, and it works it all out, and collisions happen and stuff. It's very, very cool. So what I need to do is I got to tell the rigid body that the mass of the drone should change. So maybe I'll just make a little bit here. What's all this nonsense? Reset drone, whatever. Let's throw it in above here. So I'm going to make a thing called, let's say, set drone mass. Not mess. I don't know why I keep typing mess. What's that about? So I apparently have a thing called RB, which is the rigid body for this drone, and I can go mass is new mass. So I'm going to send in a number called new mass. We're going to make that the mass of the drone. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So let's change that to drone set drone mass to. So if we were on fast time, let's go for half, because the normal mass is F for a float. One of the things that's annoying about C# is, I say annoying, it's good because it makes you think about what kind of data you're passing around. Sometimes you have to clarify, because there's also a double, which is like a double precision number, so they take more space, but you can have more precision on them. There's also decimals, which it doesn't really matter, but I need to say F just to clarify that this is a float, or it'll upset it. So once we're done with fast drone time, let's go set drone mass back to 1. And we should get some craziness there. Rigid is a funny word. It is. It's a weird word to say as well. You almost feel like the shape of the word, kind of the rotation of the word changes. Maybe this is one of me with my weird things about how I see stuff. When you know, like when you're writing something, sometimes you're writing, I don't know, a C and then a D or so, and you kind of, the rotation of the of your hand as you're rewriting changes. I kind of think that with words as you say them as well. This is like the thing where I see time as another 3D object, because I'm weird. We had this big discussion about how we think that maybe I have mild synesthesia or something. It is possibly part of that. I don't know. That's a story for a whole other time. Right, so now we've got, if someone presses the button, we set some fast drone time. If there is some fast drone time remaining, let it tilt more, make it way less. When it's done, set those back to the original values. I'm doing very naughty things here because I'm just using magic numbers. You know, these should be kind of set somewhere so that we can reuse them elsewhere. You know, this should be max tilt for fast drone time in case I have to reference that somewhere else. But I'm being bad and I'm just writing the numbers straight in, and I'll fix it later because I'm a really bad example of someone to be showing people how to do stuff. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We sort it out. Right, so make it tilt more, make it weigh less. Let's see what happens. That could be fun. That seems to be kind of what's happening with this. It's all like, oh, let's just try something and see what happens. It could be fun. Oh, thank you very much, Ferret. I appreciate that. If I thought it through, I would have maybe disabled the tutorial or something. Right, let's go find some drones and see what happens, because basically it could be that they... I want a group of them, really. Oh, there's a couple here. Right, let's turn on that mix play. I'm kind of hoping something crazy happens, really. So if someone presses that new button... Oh, yeah, okay, that worked. Yeah, okay. They're really shifting. The problem is, I worry that the AI now is going to have a panic and it isn't going to be able to cope with moving that quickly. Yeah, I think they've all planted into the wall. Oh no, maybe. Oh, I tell you what I haven't done. It's not showing a status effect for it, is it? Or did it? And I was just too distracted and didn't notice. You remove so much mass, 0 grav level. Yeah, someone has suggested Moonbase. So we might do something where you have to sort of thrust up and down. Yeah, I haven't done a status effect warning thing there. Ooh, easy. Yeah, so, yeah, this boy's really moving. So the problem is, it's trying to thrust to the side because it wants to get over here somewhere. But with it having such little mass... Ooh, easy. With it having such little mass, it's going far too high. But for the purpose of a demonstration, you know, it kind of works pretty well, I think. Maybe we should give them more thrust as well, just for comic effect. I don't know, that might start getting crazy. But yeah, 0 gravity level, that could be a thing. Yeah, that was pretty entertaining. Right, maybe what I should do is figure out why we're not getting a status effect for that. Oh, because there's another bit saying add status effect message. We should get one of those in there as well. Add status effect message. So, I mean, again, I forget how all of this works because I wrote this ages ago. Oh no, in fact, if I hover over this, okay, title, duration, instigator name. Ooh, that sounds like the kind of word that I'd use, wouldn't it? Right. So, okay, let's just call it fast enemies, fast drones. Fast drones implies that maybe you're fast as well. Maybe that should be a thing. Maybe it shouldn't have been AI. Maybe they should be able to make all the drones really fast, including you. Exactly. I think I'd possibly been listening to Prodigy when it happened. Yeah. Yeah. R.I.P. Keith. Yeah. I listen to Prodigy at the gym because it's very good for when you're on a treadmill. Um, fast enemies, fast rogues, fast invaders. Let's just call it fast drones for the minute. It doesn't really matter, does it? So let's go see what happens on the other side of this. Actually, so this add status effect message, you pass some stuff in. So you give it a title, a duration, and an instigator name. And Unity has this concept of a prefab. So you make sort of a template object, a prefab, if you will, and then you can spawn these things. So you can kind of create it, you can instantiate them, as it's saying here, and then they appear in your level. So I've got a status effect prefab, which I'll just go flick up in a minute. So when we add a status effect message, we make one of those, and then we set up whatever the text on it is, and we apparently set an appropriate symbol on there. Okay, let's go see what that does. Again, Visual Studio, it understands how all of this code links together, so I can just go on something, press F12, and then it jumps me over to that. So again, I'm being slightly naughty here and checking what the title is. What I should maybe do is send in something, an enum, an enumerated value, which can only be set to certain values. So it should be maybe there's like a status type crosswind, status type stun malfunction. Because it could be that, if I spell this wrong here, if I miss a letter out of that, this would never get triggered. So this is really bad practice. But again, the whole thing was hacked up really quickly. I'll fix it later. It'll be fine. So what happens is when we set this information, we set the title, we set the name, we then check for what type of thing it is, and we show an appropriate icon. If it's crosswind, show the wind warning. If it's this, that, whatever. Else, don't show one. I haven't really got an icon for this, so have I got something we could reuse for it? Maybe not, actually. I think the only other thing I've got is a tornado, which we're maybe going to use for another kind of wind effect. Okay, never mind. We'll just have a blank warning. Right, where are we? Let's back this up again. Back. So, what we do now, you press the button, and we end up here. It says, someone press the button, we find all the enemies, we do this stuff to them, and then we show a message from Dave saying, is it me or the drones moving faster? I blame whoever it was that pressed the button. And then we also add a status effect message called fast drones, and then it shows the name of the person there. So let's just test that out quickly, see if that works. Yeah, Fast Rogues. Fast Rogues is our racing game spin-off. That could work, yeah? Why not? So if I turn that on, I think I turned that on. Or maybe I didn't. Oh, yeah, little delay. Okay, so apparently that's what it looks like if there's no icon. It actually comes up as a square, and then we've got a little bit of drone rapture going on here. They're not entirely crashing into the ceiling, he said, as these two clearly crash into the ceiling. Maybe instead of decreasing the mass, I should have decreased the drag. I don't know. And then you can see they're kind of going back to normal and trying to go down as that wears off. And then they're taking a while to get back down there. So, for an example, I think this works quite well, but we'd have to actually maybe make this work a bit better if we have it in the actual game. I mean, and again, just sort of, if I just toggle this off for a minute, if I just close that, showing how easy it is to do stuff for Mixer. If I wanted to change that text, I mean, I could get Unity to change it. I could set it to whatever I want. If you've watched one of our one of our quizzes or one of an episode of Interference and Chill, the buttons change depending on what's happening. The text changes. It's really easy to just set that in Unity. But I can always just come over to the Mixer lab here, and I'll call this. Are we going fast rogues? Maybe. Have I got capitals on everything? No, I haven't. Rogues. And so now, next time it connects up, it'll have that on. In fact, maybe I shouldn't call this DevStream demo. Maybe I should call this, let's say, Fast Rogues button. Never hurts to actually have a name that... Are you going to close? No. Never hurts to have a name that explains what something is. Because you can get bits of text. In fact, if I just show this here, you can have things like a joystick. You can have a mouse control, which is one that's across the entire stream and clickable. They're quite cool. I haven't actually played with those yet. In fact, should we just throw a random joystick on here just to see what that looks like? I whack that there. Let's just save this. But yeah, like I say, Mixer, I've just made some changes there. Oh, hang on, let me just... What did I set that to? Fast Rogues button. I need to go and change that in the code here. So that should be Fast Rogues button. So as I say, button is kind of superfluous, but it means I can look at that and go, oh, it's not a joystick, that's a button. So this joystick doesn't do anything. Maybe we should wire it up so you can do something. Maybe you could control the direction of the wind. Or maybe you could pilot the drone? No, that's probably a bit too complicated. So if I connect that up, so there you go. I've changed the button so it says Fast Rogues, and if someone presses that, it should still work as normal. Hopefully, if I kind of in view of some of these, we'll see them go crazy again because it's funny. Yeah, there we go. They suddenly start getting a move on. But yeah, there's like this joystick thing here. I've never used one of these. I don't know how it works. Oh, you drag the little dot. Should we do something with that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. I'll be honest. I was really worried about doing this to start with because I thought it was going to be a giant disaster. Because I've never sort of done live dev before. Literally no one aside from Bunnery really has ever watched me write code because I'm kind of really conscious that I'm self-taught and I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just making up as I go along. But I'm really enjoying this. And now I'm getting tempted to do more complicated things. I've literally never used one of these joystick things, but I reckon we can probably work that out, can't we? Can't be that hard, can it? What's the worst can happen? You know, on interactive button event. I bet there's a separate event for joysticks. Let's we'll wing it. We'll wing it entirely. On what have we got here? Interactive button, interactive joystick control event. That sounds fun. We'll have one of those. Right. Yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah. I'll just keep it called that. Right, so the cool thing about the tools, break the entire game. Pff, yeah, exactly. I was literally mucking about with stuff while we were at the show. You know, it's just good fun. So the cool thing about the Mixer SDK that you can get for Unity is it kind of knows stuff. You know, I wanted something to do with a joystick, so the SDK combined with Visual Studio, which has this IntelliSense thing. As you start typing stuff, like you might have noticed, you know, if we've got, I point at the screen, you can't see it. We've got a best time down here, so that's obviously a thing somewhere. And if I start typing stuff, BE, it's going, oh, do you mean best time? Because that's a thing. You've got the advantage that you can start typing stuff in. So, you know, I go Mixer Interactive dot whatever, and then I can just look through these and it lists all of the stuff that I can do, you know, mouse button event, you know, message event, whatever. So, you know, this joystick thing happens. So, and then it's filled out a little stub of code for me here. Now if someone plays with it, it'll just throw up a warning going, oh, that's not been done yet. But I don't know, let's see what happens. So it's going to pass me joystick event args. Yeah, no worries, cheese. So I'm going to get this thing E. And then that gives me... So again, I've got no idea. I've literally never touched this. They've never... I don't think they even covered this on the Mixer Dev show, so I'm just kind of going completely off the top of my head here. So I can do things like get the control ID. We've only got one joystick, so I won't bother with that. Participant, so we can get who it is that's done it. Time, what does that do? The time when it's triggered. Whatever. This looks cool though. X and Y, the X coordinate of the joystick in the range -1 to 1. This is very interesting because the data that we get from the controller here, that comes in the range -1 to 1. So 0 is the stick is idle. If I'm doing this, -1 is all the way to the left, 1 is all the way to the right for X. Y is all the way up for 1, all the way down for -1, I think. That sounds a sensible way around to do it. So, I mean, theoretically, we can make that joystick control, I don't know, what, the tilt or something? That could be entertaining. Why not? Why not? So somewhere in here I've probably got a thing called player drone, because I know at some point I'll have had to do something with the player drone, so I'll have a reference to it. So somewhere here I probably set control inputs. That sounds good. New pitch, new roll, new thrust. Right. Do I want to do this here or... Sorry, just thinking about what the best way to do this is going to be. E, is there a... Was there some sort of like is down or something is happening? Maybe I should... Yeah, okay, right. This is going to work, but I am going to do this somewhere else. So in fact, let's just hammer undo a bit until we get rid of all this. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. So what I'll do is I've got a player drone controller. So what I have in here is each frame we are looking at the stuff coming in from the joystick. This is all stuff from before, I guess. It's kind of commented out somewhere here. Right, here we go. Roll, pitch, thrust, and yaw. So that's roll is left and right, pitch is forward and back, thrust is thrust, and yaw is sort of rotate. And I'm just reading that from the stick on my controller. Oh, hey cheese. You just missed me hammering Control Z a bit because I'm going to move where we're doing this bit. So what I want to do really is maybe overwrite my values with the values that are coming from the controller. And I mean from the on-screen joystick. So this is possibly going to blow up massively, but YOLO, whatever, that's what the cool kids say. Right, so let's get an on-interactive joystick event. I'll just leave it called that. So what are these things? Let me just get the names right. I had to write this on the whiteboard because I kept getting it wrong. So horizontal and vertical, roll, pitch, roll and pitch. Okay, so let's go. Roll amount equals this joystick thing. Roll is going to be X. Pitch is going to be... Oh, what is that? That's a double, but I want a float. Okay, well, let's just sort of go... Yeah, just treat this as a float. It'll be fine. Pitch amount is going to be... Let's just say, okay, this is a float. Y. I'm thinking that should take precedence over what values I'm reading in from the controller, but let's just comment out my bit. So we're not reading that information from the controller anymore. Let me just check that doesn't happen anywhere else. And then stuff happens and it goes blah blah blah, whatever. Now I don't know how these joysticks work in terms of multiple people using them, but it'll be fun to find out. Yeah, okay, let's just run it. Let's run it. So, okay, I've got thrust here. That's all cool. Let's just cancel that. So, if I move my stick now, nothing's happening. So this is either going to be great or terrible. Possibly terrible, because I think if you all stop... Okay, something's happening. There we go. Yeah. How cool is that? I don't know who's doing that. I should maybe make it so that it shows who's doing something. But yeah, so someone is controlling the drone using an on-screen joystick. Make it mobile friendly. Oh, yeah, sorry, Cheese, didn't think. Yeah, hang on, let me just stop this. Yeah, you see, I mentioned this earlier on and then possibly didn't catch it. So this lab thing for making your mixplay stuff, it's really cool. You just drag and drop stuff onto it. The catch is you've got to do different layouts for different devices. So Cheese is on mobile, so I just need to stick this joystick thing on here, and we're cool. Maybe I should... Can I fit it on here? I don't know if that'll actually... No, you're not allowed to overlap them. Alright, maybe I'll sort of make that a little bit smaller. Will that fit in there? Yeah, there we go. Close enough. Whatever. So that's like the tablet mode. Right. Also, I think it would be useful if we could see who is doing this. So let's just go find where that stuff is happening. Just being cheap, I'll just go... what was it? Let's say mixplay joystick. And then I will tack onto the end of that the participant.username, so we can see who's actually driving. Yeah, I don't know if someone is holding the control, maybe it automatically stops other people from using it, or maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Maybe if you're going in different directions, everything's going to break. So again, I can't control it. I can do rotate and thrust. Let's turn that on, and I'm hoping... if you start fiddling about with that joystick, it doesn't like it. Okay, well that was cool. Error reading input from control. Well, you know, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, something's happening. Yeah, there's a lot of error happening there. Oh no, hang on, I did see something meaningful. Mixplay joystick Vanguard Ferret. Mixplay joystick Cheese. So something is occurring here. Just double click this and just see where this goes. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's just comment out the bit that shows the errors, and then it'll be fine. So let me just stop this and start it again. Oh no, hang on, maybe I don't need to actually. I think... Okay, right, let's just get rid of those as well. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Now nothing is appearing. Alright, hang on, let me just start this for a sec. Might be that didn't take effect until... Why am I... Oh, clicking in the wrong bit. Oh, I should show off my cool mouse, actually, because I keep mentioning it on Interference and Chill. Yeah, well, you know. Okay, never mind. There we go. Mixplay joystick Cheese. So we are getting some stuff there. There's obviously something going on somewhere in the background, but basically I'm controlling the thrust. Someone, maybe between all of you, you're controlling the tilt. So I don't know. Maybe we should try and head over to the control tower or something. If someone tilts us forward, yeah, there we go. So we could do some sort of mixplay mode where the streamer controls the thrust and the audience controls... We're getting a bit high there. Let's come down. I will take the sun out, Ferret. I have got that on the list before you say. But the audience can control the control the direction that the drone's going in, or maybe the wind. Yeah, maybe we should have made this so you could control the crosswind instead of there being a crosswind button. You could choose the way it was going. Oh, I wasn't paying attention there. I'm gonna sort of. Oh, I almost tried to tilt then, and it doesn't work. But hey, okay, so this is kind of a little bit broken, but I mean, how cool is that? Like, okay, I was talking through it all, but you know, really, we could have done that in a couple of minutes. And now there's a mix play button, joystick thing. You're watching this, and you're literally controlling the drone in the game. How cool is that? And it took like just a few lines of code. Now you're going to clip through the floor probably or something. So I'll just stop that there. Mix play is awesome. Yeah, you were trying to break it then, were you, Ferret? Thank you. But that's good. Good QA there, really, isn't it? Trying to find problems. I mean, I should probably figure out what's actually going on here. Oh, this is some sort of internal thing to the mixer thing. I'm not interested in fixing that. There's probably a patch out for it. But yeah, how cool is that? I mean, maybe I should just adjust it to the wind. I don't even remember how the wind works. Let's just kind of. I probably would have put wind direction, wind duration, current wind speed. Okay, current wind speed. That sounds kind of legit. Let's find where. Oh, here we go. Current wind speed. Where does current wind speed come from? It must happen somewhere. Ah, here we go. Trigger wind. Right. Current wind speed equals. So when we're talking about points in 3D space, or kind of, I'll say directions, it's really sort of velocities, because there's like a length like that. You have a vector 3, which basically stores x, y, and z values. So in terms of the game, we've got x and z is your position in terms of the world, and y is your height. So the wind just comes up with a random thing between 1 and -1 for wind speed. In the x and z, y is 0, and so that then figures out what the wind is going to be. So maybe what we could do is yeah, let's rig that joystick so that it lets you control the wind, because why not? Where is any of this stuff? It's down here somewhere. No, it's not here at all, because I moved it into the player drone thing. I should move it back here for that. Okay, let's just unhook that temporarily and stick another one in here. I should probably think about wrapping this up in a bit, but I'm kind of all excited making kind of cool random stuff that makes no sense, because why not? That's kind of what this whole thing is about. I feel like I've said that 100 times now or something. So someone does a joystick thing. Let's say then, so we've got some sort of wind duration remaining thing, haven't we? So while people are fiddling with the joystick, let's set the wind duration remaining to 20 seconds or something. Although, well, I suppose if they're actually on the joystick, maybe it should expire faster when they let go. So every time the joystick moves a bit, we just reset that to 5 seconds. As soon as the joystick stops moving, that'll start counting down, and then it'll cancel the wind. So that's cool. And we will go what, wind direction, wind velocity. I forgot what I call it. Current wind speed. That's it. Current wind speed equals a new vector of Z, yeah, okay, so the Y on my stick is going to map to the Z in the world. So this is going to be a little bit confusing for you, because it won't necessarily, well, maybe we could do that. No, we'll keep it simple to start with. So in terms of the game, let me just kind of get this so I can kind of show sort of the layout of the airport. So when we're looking at the airport here, in fact, you can see on this little thing, I forget what this is called. Like, I think it's a bit like a jack or something, really, I suppose. These are the direction of the axis. So Z is that way going up, and or is it? No, maybe it's that way coming down. Hang on, let me just see where something is. That is at. Yeah, so Z is going up that way. Sorry, I'm pointing my screen, and you can't see that, obviously. So Z going up and down, and then X going up and down, because it's like on a chart. You know, if you're doing sort of like a graph, you know, your axis going up that way. So I'm just going to take your joystick input and kind of map it onto that. I think that's probably the easiest way to go. So let's say, what is this? E.x. Now I don't actually want the wind to happen in terms of Y, because that would make me go up into the sky. We're going to make up and down on your stick be up and down as far as the world is concerned. So I've got to just say, yes, this is a float, and this is a float as well, not a float. There we go. That'll be fine. So we just keep resetting how long the wind should last for, and we just keep setting what the wind is. And then this will probably magically work. Who knows? Could be fun. Now the catch is it won't trigger a message saying, oh, there's a crosswind, because we wouldn't want that to keep continually coming up. I guess it might not show the crosswind in the radar as well, unless I made it so that it automatically always shows it. Maybe it actually calculates what the wind is and then shows it in the radar. I don't know. Let's see what happens. So, did that work? I don't know. I can see something's happening. Wow, I kind of thought that was just going to work. Let me just have a look at one of my things here. So this is the cool thing about running things in Unity in the editor. So this is kind of working. So I've got here, it's probably a bit too small for you to see, but you might be able to see some numbers moving here. I'm just sort of trying to remember, what's the shortcut for accessibility? Is it I? Maybe I can just kind of get the magnifier out. It's probably the easiest, isn't it? Whoa, oh, okay, right, that's not what I meant. No, don't do that. Let me just sort of embiggen that a bit more. So yeah, the wind duration remaining that we've got displayed in the editor here, so that's kind of constantly ticking down, but if someone fiddles with that joystick, it should kind of keep getting reset. Yeah, so you can see it's trying to count down, but every time you're moving it's going back to 5 and then coming down from there. So we're definitely getting the joystick input. I just kind of assumed, you know, the wind would actually happen. Am I not showing wind in here? Okay. Okay, this magnifier is really annoying. Can I, like, temporarily stop that? Apparently not. I'll stick it back on in a sec then. So, you know, maybe I've just kind of done something foolish here. I've done something foolish, like that. Is that just getting reset somewhere else? Let's just go find everywhere current wind speed, something happens. So if wind duration remaining, yeah, otherwise we set it to 0, you know, find whatever. For each drone, add the current wind speed. Yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. What's happening down here? Trigger wind. We're not doing that. So I tell you what, let's just try and kind of debug this a bit. Oh, it's not appearing in the editor because of a thing. Okay, never mind. Let's go. Let's use the debug console. Why not? Debug.log. Wind is now, and then I will just print out the current wind speed, and that should hopefully give us a bit of information about what's going on. Am I doing something really obviously wrong here? No, that seems legit. In fact, let's log this as a warning, just because it'll then come up in a different colour so I can find it easier. I don't have to worry about it getting lost in amidst all of the other randomness that's appearing. Right, so let's press that and skip all this stuff. Alright, if someone has a bit of a play with that joystick, why can't we see them? There we go. Okay, so wind is happening. Oh, okay, no, hang on, something is happening now. I can see it in the... It is appearing in the radar here. Oh, in fact, yeah, the windsocks in the game. Oh, I can't steer the drone anymore because I unhooked my controls. I'll fix that in a minute. The windsock in front of me, the windsocks are tied into whatever the wind is in the game. So that is pointing wherever you're pointing the joystick. It's just that for some reason it's not getting applied to the drone. I mean, what's that about? I don't know. Let me just have a very quick attempt to try and fix that. Let me plug in my controls again. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? And I can actually drive. Right. Oh, hello. Why are you upset about that? No, this is the wrong bit. That's the wrong bit. You mean this? And now that's kind of... There we go. Laid out nicely now. Right. Okay, so I can fly the drone. The other problem was that the wind is getting set. The windsocks are responding to it. It's appearing on the radar. Why is it not happening to the drone? Is this, yeah. Now we're hitting one of these why is it not working things, which is where I thought this stream was going to be mostly me sat here going, I don't understand what's going on. Add external force, current wind speed. Maybe the problem is it changes too fast or something. Maybe because there's more than one person doing it, it's kind of happening too fast to it actually to react to the wind. Yeah, so maybe what we have to do is, I don't know, rig this so only one person can do it at once or something. Oh, are you heading off now? Oh, okay. Yeah, I will wrap this up shortly. I just want to make this wind thing work because I'm all excited about it now. Sorry. Okay, let's just be cheap here again, and I'll just let's call the person the wind controller or something. So when we have a wind controller, let's say if we don't have anything in that bit of text. Again, this is like a terrible way to do this. I should be more sensible. Let's say that the wind controller is actually the... I mean, I should probably just use the participant instead of the username. But, you know, why not? It'll be easier to debug when we see what's happening. So, if we don't have a wind controller, set that to the name of the person that's fiddling with the joystick. If the name of the wind controller is the participant's name, then this is the person who currently has control of the wind, so we'll listen to that. So now this business about setting the wind speed is only going to happen for the person who currently has control of the wind. It's a bit of a weird way to put this, but also let's set this so if the wind duration runs out, then that can also reset the wind controller. Yeah, close enough. That feels a bit hacky and a horrible way to do it, but you know, maybe it'll work. I don't know. I mean, I'm theorizing that's the problem. I don't know if someone's interested in waving that controller around. Is that working? Oh yeah, hang on, my trails are moving. If I get closer to the ground, maybe we can see better. Yeah, there we go. So perhaps that was the problem. If there's multiple inputs, so I'm not tilting at all. If there's multiple inputs, then I think it maybe just confuses it and it ends up averaging out at 0. What I should probably do, actually, let me just make one minor change to this. We've got a thing going. Wind is now. Let's change that to let's just throw the name in there as well. Set wind to. Maybe I don't know. I feel like we could have gone for a cheap joke there. You know, participant name has wind or something. I don't know. Right. So we should be able to see who's doing it now as well. So if someone has a play with that joystick when it appears, I'm hoping. Yeah, there we go. Ferret set wind to whatever. So it's now Ferret is the wind controller until she leaves it alone for 5 seconds, and then that should get set to nothing, and then another person can come in and control the wind. But yeah, it looks like that was the problem. Oh yeah, I can see on the screen. Actually, you probably can't quite see, but we've got wind controller listed here, and it's just sort of gone blank. But say if I grab this, it should set to my name now. So there you go. Sometimes you just got to kind of think about these things like, oh, what might be going wrong here? Maybe it's actually just that there's 2 people pulling the joystick in different ways. But that was kind of fun. We played with a new mixplay control. We played with a joystick. You know, there's kind of all kinds of things we could do in here. I assume you can have multiple joysticks. So maybe we could actually have 2 joysticks on screen. People could use one to control the tilt of the drone, one to control the thrust or something. Maybe the audience could actually fly a drone around. The problem with that is because the camera view is from the player's drone, it would be a bit kind of weird and complicated. If they were moving around, your view, relatively speaking, would be changing, so that would be weird. Mixplay dev should become a regular thing. Really? I mean, I know I've been saying this all along, but I've just been kind of making this up as I've been going along. Mixplay seemed like a good thing to do, because then you can get involved and press things. Yeah, that was kind of fun, I think. I mean, I should probably wrap up now, because it's kind of 10 o'clock, and that means I've been doing this for 2 hours, unexpectedly. But that was kind of cool. I enjoyed that. 2:05. Well, there we go. But yeah, that kind of went really well. I mean, I don't know how much of this we'll keep in the game. The fast drones thing, that could be quite cool. We should maybe leave that in. I'll neaten it up a bit so that, you know, they don't just smash into the sky. We'll figure that out. Maybe we should do something with the joystick. You know, if anyone has any ideas, feel free to whack this stuff into our Discord and things. There we go. Oh, let's say Ferret doing that. You know, we have a Discord on there. There's a Rogue Drones channel. You can drop suggestions in there. Yeah, okay. I think this kind of worked. I think maybe if I just kind of plan ahead slightly and actually have something in mind rather than just trying to wing it entirely, like, okay, today we're going to do a new mixplay interaction, today we're going to fix the AI drones, or, you know, whatever, it could kind of work. But I have actually enjoyed that surprisingly. Yeah. Thank you everyone who said they thought this would be a good idea. I'm kind of feeling a bit more confident about it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to neaten up some of this so people can't see all the really embarrassing, terrible stuff I'm doing. But, you know, maybe we're all learning together. Maybe I should press this and kind of embiggen myself slightly. Oh, but I'm not actually running the game, so that window's black now. Never mind, though. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I'm just sort of surprised that how well that went, actually. It was... Yeah, I've surprised myself. I've really enjoyed that, and yeah, I'm up for doing another one. Yeah, okay, we'll do this. Yeah, I look perplexed. Yeah, I was kind of anticipating this being a terrible nightmare, and getting really embarrassed, but it's been cool actually. Everyone's been very nice as well because we have lovely communities. But yeah, okay, we'll do some more. The catch is, I mean, I don't know how much of this we can do on a regular basis right now because of the fact that we are having to do going to be doing like contract work and stuff for trying to pay for all of this. So I'm maybe not going to be doing that much work on the game through the week, and I don't know how well that's going to work for kind of doing this each week, unless we can come up with small things to do each week and gradually move it on that way. I mean, that could work. Yeah, we'll see. But I've enjoyed it. I'm up for doing it again if people have found this interesting. And if you don't mind the fact that I'm probably showing off some really bad practices. But, it's a learning experience together. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Why not? Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? That's how we roll. But yeah, so I'll wrap it up there, seeing as we've just hit 10 o'clock now. And I'm sure people kind of want to get off and do other stuff rather than listening to me babble constantly. But if you have found this interesting, we will try and do it in the future. Wednesday nights, about 8 p.m. after Interference and Chill finishes over on mixer.com/interference, where Ferret does her interactive drawing show. So if you like all this mixed play stuff, you can see some more examples of that there. Also, we run a Sunday night quiz over on mixer.com/interference. Sunday night, 7 p.m. UK time every week. We're even doing it this week, even though it's Easter Sunday, because we don't want to miss one. We've got an unbroken record since the end of August, I think. So that's all powered with mixed play as well, and I'm always up for talking about all of this kind of stuff at great length, as I'm sure Ferret and Bunnery will tell you. But if you hop on our Discord, we can geek out a bit about it because it's all cool. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. If you, as I say, if you've got any ideas of things we could do in future, other interactions, mixed play stuff for Rogue Drones, feel free to give us a shout. We can do that. Also, you can. I balked that command. I did that yesterday as well. Let me just go Rogue Drones. So you can follow the other things that are happening with Rogue Drones over on roguedronesgame.com or on Twitter at Rogue Drones. And it's only 12 weeks old now, but we're going to be trying to make it into a full game. And we'll be kind of sharing what information we can with NDAs and things like this about how our quests for things are going, trying to figure out how to do publishing and stuff like that, and maybe trying to get a publisher to help us out with it. It could be educational, especially if you're interested in getting into indie games yourself. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you very much for joining me, everyone. It's been awesome. As I say, you will see me next time on Sunday at mix.com/interference, 7 p.m. for our weekly pub quiz. It would be great if we could see you there. But otherwise, have a great night, and thank you for sticking around. Bye.